going to look at the response of Mary. We saw Mary told Jesus what the issue is. Jesus was asking her, well, why are you involving us in this? It wasn't yet his time. Pay careful attention to what Jesus does next. Not just Jesus, but what Mary does next. Mary turns to an attendant and says, do whatever he tells you. Now that is a confident response. That tells us that Mary was quite confident that Jesus was about to respond to her need. Jesus was about to favor her and favor the wedding. Now, in that little statement, that short statement that Mary made to this master of ceremonies, or whoever was overseeing the sharing of wine, it was confident, it was bold, but it was also humble. It was also honoring her son. It was also honoring the true bridegroom. Mary did not turn to the master of ceremonies and detail to him what to do. She said, do whatever the Christ tells you to do. So she is allowing Jesus to respond in his way, in his will, and his time. You see, Mary didn't know what Jesus would say specifically. She didn't know when he would respond. So she's operating in a measure of faith, a measure of belief. There has to be some sort of relationship that is established there. We know that she was the mother of Jesus. So there's relationship there, which tells us that she was confident enough. She knew him enough to know that once she admitted this particular issue to him, he would involve himself and he would respond. There would be a measure of response because he has heard her. He will involve himself in some way and it will be favorable. But she does not overstep. She does not overstep her boundary in her response. She does not go back into a rebuttal with Jesus. So she was quite respectful, but she was also honoring her measure of faith. So instead of responding to ask anything further of Jesus, she turns and she responds to the person who is in charge of the proceedings at this wedding feast. So again, she was confident that Jesus will respond, but she honored him. She did not overstep in her authority. She did not overstep in her position. She allowed Jesus to say what he needed to say, to do what he willed, to do things in his timing. Mary did not announce that they will have wine. She made that aware to Jesus, but she did not turn and say, okay, well, now you will have wine. She didn't say any of those things. So this is what we can reflect upon, and this is what we can model and take the example of from Mary. Her response was one of faith. It was one of honor. It was one of respect, of trust, of knowing, of relationship, and of intimacy. Intimacy in terms of knowing someone well enough, knowing them close, knowing facets of their nature, of their behavior, of their heart. So Mary was very certain of Jesus' response to her request. She was certain he will speak. She was certain he will move. She was certain he will instruct. So we don't learn of what she knew he would do, but we learned what he would do specifically in terms of the issue with the wine. But we learned that Mary knew Jesus well enough that he would move on her request and respond in a way that was favorable, that was love. So the exact measure or manner unknown. We don't know. But we can glean from scripture her expectation that something would be done for the sake of their relationship as mother and son. So Jesus values relationship.